Hey folks, this is Riker with a Diablo 3 Reaper of Souls guide on a very powerful and popular Demon Hunter build focused around Cluster Arrow. For our primary skill, we're going to want to go with Entangling Shot, Justice is Served. We want a fire skill that's going to benefit from our increased fire damage that we're going to be stacking in order to maximize Cluster Arrow. Beyond that, Entangling Shot, Justice is Served generates a good 6 hatred per attack, and it's going to slow enemies. Combine that with Cull the Weak passive, increase damage against slowed enemies by 20%. You're going to have a nice 1-2 shot where primary fire to slow, secondary fire with Cluster Arrow to deal even more damage. Our secondary obviously is Cluster Arrow. I like to use Loaded for Bear. That's a nice huge chunk of damage in a decent AoE. Another option is actually Cluster Bombs. That'll deliver more damage overall. It's about 6 grenades, each for about 500% weapon damage, so we're talking about 3,000 weapon damage in a very short amount of time. It's a little more difficult to aim though, so you can try it out, Cluster Bombs or Loaded for Bear, see which one works better for you. Now Vault, Tumble. Vault is simply a great positioning skill, a great defensive skill. You can afford to reduce your toughness if you go for Vault in order to get you out of situations. The best way to not die is to avoid taking damage, not to absorb the damage. Tumble will make Vault cost less discipline overall, and as you're going to see, we're going to be very discipline hungry. Now for the companion, I like to go with the Bat because it increases your hatred regeneration. Cluster Arrow costs a whopping 40 hatred. Another good option is the Wolf Companion to increase your damage. When it's active, for 10 seconds you gain 30% increased damage. It has a cooldown of about 30 seconds, so you can keep that up a good 1/3 of the time. Unfortunately, if you really can't spare the hatred, then go with the Bat Companion. Now, Vengeance Seethe. This is going to be a skill that you're going to pop anytime you come into a champion pack or a particularly tough fight. It has a 90-second cooldown, which is pretty big. You might be able to do it once every second champion pack. You definitely want to have that there for a Rift boss or a big fight because apart from the boosted damage, what's really best about Vengeance is that it's going to increase your hatred regeneration significantly. And again, this is all about popping Cluster Arrow as much as possible. Lastly, Preparation, Punishment. Instead of regaining discipline, you're going to be spending discipline to regain hatred. As for passives, Archery's great no matter what build you're going. Cull the Weak, we explained. Blood Vengeance increases your hatred and allows you to regain more hatred when you pick up a health globe. And then Night Stalker, critical hits have a chance to restore 1 discipline. So we want discipline to come back just so that we can spend it in order to gain more hatred. So based on this layout, what kind of skills do you want to gear for? You do want, obviously, fire damage, Cluster Arrow damage, and you really benefit from critical hit chance because the more crits you get, the more discipline you restore. More discipline transfers into more hatred transfers into more Cluster Arrow, meaning more awesome killing. And lastly, gear that boosts your hatred regeneration is obviously invaluable. If we want to talk about a couple specific legendaries that'll really help you, Mage Fist, legendary gloves, add fire damage, Cinder Coat, legendary chest, adds fire damage and reduces the resource cost of fire skills, which is invaluable. That wraps up this guide. Thanks for watching, and if you'd like to see more guides in the future, please like, comment, and subscribe.
Subscribe for more Diablo 3 and tabletop RPG content, including Reaper of Souls guides, RPG quick tips, character and campaign ideas, and live recorded Dungeons & Dragons sessions.